Hey, Big Brother fans, it is veto meeting day, and Leah and Angela had 2 power of veto medallions between them, but only one of them was a really good one. And how they used them shook up the house. We are talking about an epic blindside that could see T'Kor evicted this week, as improbable as that seems, but let me lay it all out for you. Plus, there was a huge Cam versus Chelsie fight on the feeds that was so messy. I'm going to break it all down for you, but please hit that subscribe button if you're not following us. All right, real quick, before we talk vetoes and blindsides, let's talk about the huge fight last night. Chelsie and Cam both lost their tempers with each other, but Chelsie was the first one to snap. So apparently there was a little light rainfall happening, and Cam slid his bed up next to Makensy's bed against the wall to try and get out of it, and Chelsie flipped out. It looks like Cam might have slid Chelsea's cot aside to put his up against the wall. Not really sure the semantics of how it started, but Cam was trying to explain to Chelsie he moved his bed because of the rain and he was going to move it back. And she just went off and she started yelling at him, and then he raised his voice. And then Cam said he only raised his voice because Chelsie raised hers first. Leah was trying to make peace over there, talking to them. Makensy was sitting beside him, just kind of like, oh, this is happening around me. And of course, Makensy and Cam have been very touchy-feely out in the yard, and that's been bugging Chelsie. And Chelsie has had a migraine, and plus they're living in crap conditions. So it's the kind of situation where a fight was going to break out probably. So Cam explained that production wouldn't let them use the awnings to shield them from the rain. And then he told Chelsie she was making a scene. To me, that's like my husband telling me, calm down, and making the gesture. You know, no woman's going to calm down when you tell him something like that. Chelsie lost it on Cam, and then she picked up her cot and walked it all the way across the yard and put it down by the little outdoor porta potties where Rubina was. And then Chelsie came back, picked up her other stuff, stormed off, flopped down, and called Cam an asshole. He yelled back, wanting to know why she called him that. And she said, I'm on this side of the yard. Stay on your freaking side. She didn't want to talk to him. So Chelsie was then beefing to Rubina, saying Cam's showing out in front of the other girls, which would be Leah and Makensy, at her expense. And then Chelsie said later, Cam wants to have other women petting him, but then wants her to feed him. So Chelsea's mad about more than just rain and cots and the migraine. It was a whole scene. And then, so that was last night. This morning, Cam asked Chelsie to have a talk with him. He asked a couple of times. She refused both times. And then when he was on the big couch sitting with some others, she wouldn't go near Cam. She stayed away in a chair. So the good news is the fight wasn't something that was going to affect the veto meeting or the plans, but it was just really interesting. And just, I'm hoping they have some of it on one of the CBS episodes, but they don't always show us the good stuff when they get done editing. All right, now let's talk vetoes, multiple vetoes, because we've got 2. Of course, you know, Leah's goal this week for her head of household was to break up the power trio of Kimo, Rubina, and T'Kor, and she got right to it. Leah nominated Kimo and Rubina as her initial nominees. And it's been pretty clear that Rubina really didn't have a chance of getting off the block unless she won the veto, which she didn't. I mentioned in our Who Won the Veto meeting just the ridiculousness of the math and them losing. So T'Kor, Chelsie, and Angela were drawn to play along with Kimo, Rubina, and HOH Leah. So the whole power trio was playing for POV. If there was only one veto up for grab, they had a 50-50 chance of getting it. With 2 vetoes up for grabs, the odds of one of the power trio winning was up to 80%. And they did not make it happen. So Angela won the golden POV, Leah won the janky POV, and from the live feed chatters, it sounds like Leah has to play a carnival game and win it in order to activate her janky veto. She's not required to use it, and if she loses the carnival game, apparently it's dead in the water. And I don't think she wanted to use it anyway. Angela and Leah, of course, were both very excited they won. Leah wasn't sure what she'd do because everything with her hinged on what Angela would do because she's got the real power with this veto meeting. So amazingly, Kimo got off his duff and he did some talking on Sunday, and it looks like he saved his game. So last night, Leah and Kimo had a one-on-one, and she told him, look, you need to talk to Angela. She's the one that can make this happen, not me. So, Leah's wasn't guaranteed to be used, even if she wanted to. So Kimo, to his credit, he went and he talked to Angela. He had promised both Leah and Angela to keep them safe next week if he comes down off the block. That was sort of a follow-on to Angela telling Kimo over the weekend she feels really bad about voting twice to evict him the last 2 times he's been on the block. She said she was voting with the house, things like that. She said none of that was voting with her heart. So Angela told Kimo he did not need to worry about eviction this week. And Cam warned Leah last night that if she renoms T'Kor, whoever's sitting next to her would be evicted. But things shifted since last night, and that's the big Blindside scheme that was cooking up on a side burner today in that hot backyard. So last night, Angela warned Leah, I really want to use my veto on Kimo, and told her that's what my heart wants to do. So Leah's like, okay. Obviously Angela can use her veto as she wants, and Angela's a wild card. She'll do what she wants. So with Angela making it clear that she was going to use her traditional golden power veto, really there was no reason for Leah to play hers, because that would just mean she had to make, 2 renoms, because she used hers first. If she took Kimo down, then there was a risk Angela could take down, Rubina, and then it would all be for squat. So no reason for Leah to use hers when Angela was planning to play hers. So Sunday night, after Angela told Leah that she was going to play her POV to save Kimo, that was when Leo decided to give her renom a heads up. It was going to be T'Kor. So this was very interesting. Leah sat down with her to warn her, and after she told her, T'Kor just stared at her dead on, utterly silent. And it's like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 35 seconds, dead silence and staring, death stare. And then Leah got uncomfortable, staring back at her, trying to be chill, and then kind of patted her leg and said something reassuring like, oh, don't sweat it. Maybe it won't come to that. Something like that. Something dismissive just to get out of it, because T'Kor just had nothing to say. So on Monday, leading up to the veto meeting, the feeds were mostly carnival games, pizza, janky, torment, napping with stuffies while production yelled at them to wake up. And Leah, of course, was focused on T'Kor as a renom, thinking that she'd be safe from eviction, but then Rubina would go home and they'd still get out one of the 3. And T'Kor probably thinks that she's safe too, even though she doesn't want to go on the block. But that may be a false sense of security. And of course, Leah was worried about T'Kor coming after her next week. So Leah had also kind of tossed around the idea to Makensy and maybe to Cam about Chelsie as a renom. They didn't like that. So on veto meeting Monday, before the meeting, things started shifting. Makensy sidled up to Leah with the plan that she and Cam could vote to evict T'Kor, and Makensy is quite certain she can get Angela to vote with them. That's enough votes to make it happen. I mean, also, based on how much T'Kor dislikes Angela and is kind of having a trouble keeping a lid on it, I'm guessing that Angela has figured out that T'Kor is not going to benefit her game going forward. Rubina and Kimo are both more chill where Angela's concerned as much as anybody can be. So right now, this could be an epic blindside where they send T'Kor out and she doesn't see it coming. Makensy then told Leah, then we can turn on Rubina and Kimo after that. I mean, it's a smart plan. Kimo and Rubina aren't comp beasts. Makensy does pretty well. I mean, Angela, heck, she does pretty well in comps. She's won 3. Makensy has done 4 if you count the beginning one when they came into the house. And, when Cam decides to actually show up and play, he wins too. They could flip this game on its ear if they evict T'Kor, who's the strongest leg of that threesome. So as expected, Leah's janky vote went unused. Angela went ahead and played her regular old golden POV. She took Kimo off the block. Leah renommed T'Kor. So Rubina and T'Kor are the final nominees for the week. If they can pull it off, it'd be a true game-changing blindside. Leah could get out the biggest social threat on her HOH train because, let's face it, T'Kor is so well-liked. Sitting next to her on finale night, she'd be hard to beat. Either way, either Rubina or T'Kor is heading to Jury House to hang out with Quen after saying hi to Julie this Thursday on live eviction night. So that's it. Angela used hers. Leah didn't. Kimo's off. T'Kor's on. Leah's goal of breaking up the power trio is going to come to fruition. That's what pretty much all the rest of the house guests were hoping for this week, even though they were only talking about it in whispers. So is T'Kor toast on Thursday? We'll see. I mean, she'd be hard to beat in the end. So come back soon for more Big Brother updates and be sure to subscribe.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.